Welcome to the IELTS Writing Masterclass. I'm Faz, and I will be your facilitator today. IELTS Tuition has evaluated over 3,000 essays and guided more than 500 students to their target scores. We are here to teach the specific strategy of IELTS success. Let's start by looking at what we'll cover in today's session. First, I'll give you a quick overview of the IELTS exam so you understand how the test is structured and where the writing component fits in. Then we'll focus on the writing marking criteria. And this is extremely important because IELTS examiners do not mark randomly. They follow 4 very specific criteria. Once you understand these, it becomes easier for you to improve your score. After that, we'll do a feedback review of a writing task 2 response. We'll look at a real example, analyze its strengths and weaknesses, and connect the feedback directly to the marking criteria. Next, I'll walk you through our study plans and packages so you can choose the right path for your preparation. And finally, we'll leave some time for questions and answers so you can clarify anything that's unclear. Before we look at IELTS writing in detail, let's quickly understand the overall structure of the exam. This is for the students who are new to IELTS. The IELTS test has 4 components: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The listening test has 40 questions and takes about 30 minutes. It assesses your ability to understand spoken English in different real-life situations, such as conversations and lectures. The reading test also has 40 questions and it lasts for 60 minutes. Here you are tested on how well you can understand written text and locate key information. The writing test includes 2 tasks that lasts for 60 minutes. Task 1 usually requires you to describe a data, such as a graph or chart, or a process diagram or a map, while task 2 requires you to write an essay responding to a question. Finally, there is a speaking test, which is a face-to-face interview lasting for about 11 to 14 minutes. This assesses your fluency, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. One important thing to remember is that listening, reading, and writing are completed in one sitting, which lasts for about 2 hours and 45 minutes, while speaking test is usually scheduled separately. The test is available in 2 versions: academic for university study and general training for work or migration purposes. Now let's look at how IELTS writing is actually marked, because many students misunderstand this part. A lot of candidates believe the examiner simply reads the essay and gives an overall impression score. But that is not how IELTS works. Instead, every essay is evaluated using 4 specific criteria, and each of these contribute 25% to your final band score. That means if one area is weak, it can pull your entire score down, even if the rest of your writing is good. Let's look at each one carefully. Task response. The first criteria is task response, which means, did you actually answer the question properly? Examiners check 3 main things here. Did you address all parts of the question? Did you present clear ideas or opinions? Did you support those ideas with explanations or examples? Many students lose marks here because they partially answer the question. For example, Imagine the question asks, what are the causes of this problem and what solutions can you suggest? Some students write a full essay explaining the causes, but they only mention the solutions briefly in one sentence at the end. Even if the writing is grammatically correct, the examiner will lower the score because the task was not fully completed. Strong task response means you answer every part of the question clearly and your ideas are developed, not just mentioned. Next is cohesion and coherence. This is about organization and flow. Examiners ask questions like, are the ideas arranged in a logical order? Are paragraphs clearly structured? Do the ideas connect smoothly from one sentence to the next? In simple terms, this is about how easy your essay is to follow. A well-organized essay usually has a clear introduction, 2 or 3 body paragraphs, each focused on one main idea, and a short conclusion for task 2. Cohesion always involves linking words such as however, therefore, in addition, for example, on the other hand. These are few examples of signpost markers. But here is an important warning. Many students think using a lot of linking words automatically increases their score. It doesn't. If linking words are used too often or incorrectly, it actually reduces the clarity. Good cohesion means your ideas connect naturally, not mechanically. Then let's move on to the third criterion, which is lexical resource. Lexis is the technical term for words. Therefore, lexical resource means vocabulary. Examiners are looking for 3 main things: the range of vocabulary you use, whether the words are accurate and appropriate, whether you can paraphrase ideas effectively. Many students believe that they need to use very complicated vocabulary to get a high band score. Now, that is not true. Using a simple word correctly is always better than using a complex word incorrectly. For example, instead of repeating the same word again and again and again, strong writers use variation. For example, instead of using many people think over and over again, you might write many individuals believe, a large number of people argue. Now, this kind of variation shows flexibility with language, which improves your lexical resource score. But again, accuracy matters. If a word is used incorrectly, it does not improve your score. Finally, the criterion that they look at is grammatical range and accuracy. This evaluates 2 main things: the variety of sentence structures you use, the number of grammatical errors in your writing. A high-scoring essay usually contains a mix of sentence types, including simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. For example, a weaker response might use mostly short sentences. Technology is important. People use phones. Phones are useful. But a stronger response would combine ideas. Technology plays an important role in modern life, and smartphones in particular becomes essential tools for communication. So the sentences can be quite complex. And when you write a complex sentence, you can end it with a short sentence for impact. Now, experimenting with sentence structures, using sophisticated punctuation, this shows your grammatical range. A few mistakes are acceptable, but frequent errors make writing difficult to understand, which lowers the band score. So you need to be careful. That is why proofreading is very, very important, which is a skill that you need to develop when you are preparing for IELTS. Now, these are the most important things to remember about IELTS writing. Your band score is not based on one thing, right? Weaknesses in one area can cap your band. It depends on all 4 criteria that I described, and all 4 of those criteria should work together. Even if your grammar is strong, a weak task response can reduce your score. And even if your ideas are good, poor organization can limit your band. So to achieve a band 7 or higher, you need to perform well in all 4 of these areas. That is exactly what we are going to focus on in the next part of this session. Before we dive into the marking, I want to tell you about the student whose essay we are looking at today, because the story is one a lot of you will relate to. Now, this is Maria Santos. She's 24 from the Philippines, and her goal was to get into a master's in business analytics at a UK university. To do that, she needed an overall band 7. Now, she'd already sat the IELTS once. Her scores came back as listening 6.5, reading 6.0, writing 6.0, speaking 6.5, overall 6.5, so close, but not quite there. Maria knew her English was good. The problem wasn't her language, it was that she didn't have a clear preparation strategy. She'd been using free materials online, but found them scattered and inconsistent until she found IELTS tuition. So she enrolled in a £149 premium package, and that gave her a complete strategy, the structured lessons, writing guidance, mock exams, and a clear preparation plan. Now we are going to look at one of the writing tasks Maria completed during her preparation, a task 2 essay. This is the actual marked version. We are going to go through it exactly the way an IELTS examiner would, as so you can see what was holding her back and how she was able to fix it. The question is, in the future, more jobs will be replaced by automation. Do the advantages of this trend outweigh the disadvantages? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Now, the first line of the answer is, in the future, many jobs will be replaced by machines and automation. Now, I have flagged machines and automation as redundant. Automation already includes machines, doesn't it? So when you say both words together, you're actually repeating the same idea twice, which weakens your vocabulary precision. It's like saying cars and vehicles. One word already covers the other. The correction is very simple. Just say by automation. One word, cleaner and more precise, is better than using many words to describe something. So in IELTS, precision in vocabulary is rewarded. Now, if you are vague and if you repeat yourself unnecessarily, then you will be penalized. Then let's look at the second one. It says, this is already happening in some countries and it will continue more in the future. The phrase continue more is unnatural in English. Why? Because continue doesn't combine with more. Continue itself means to proceed further. right, to proceed. So this is what we call a collocation error. Collocations are words that naturally go together in English, and when you get them wrong, it signals to the examiner that your vocabulary isn't fully secure. The natural way to say this is it will continue to increase in the future. That's the correct pattern. Continue to do something, right? Let's look at the next one. There are some advantages and also disadvantages of this situation, and both should be considered. That's a grammatical error. And also the phrasing is weak. Now, this comes under task response, weak phrasing. Let's look at the first issue, that is grammar. Should be considered is wrong. It is a passive structure, should be plus a participle there. So it must be should be considered. So this is a basic verb form error that appears frequently in band 5 and 6 essays. Then I said it's weak phrasing. What do I mean by that? She said there are some advantages and disadvantages of this situation. So this situation is flagged as vague. In academic writing, you want to be very specific. What situation are you talking about? Is it the rise of automation, the shift in the labor market? Vague references like this situation will weaken your academic tone, and a stronger version would be both aspects should be carefully considered. Then it says, firstly, one advantage of automation is that it can make work more faster. Now, that's a double comparative. Faster is a comparative. So you do not use more when you can change the word into a comparative. More is added for words that are more than 2 syllables long, right? So more important, more significant. But faster is a comparative already. If you add more to it, it becomes a double comparative, which is wrong. So this is a very common mistake that people make in English and IELTS essays. Faster, like I told you, already shows comparison. So don't add more to make it look like it's a comparison. It's grammatically incorrect. Then, machines can work many hours without stopping, and they don't get tired like humans. If you notice, don't, it's grammatically wrong because the student has missed the apostrophe. Machines can work many hours without stopping. Once again, weak collocation. Now, I noticed that many hours is a weak collocation, so I flagged it. In natural English, we say long hours, not many hours. Now, this is a subtle point, but these are the kind of mistakes that can cost you a band score, right? So the vocabulary sounds like it's almost right, but it's not natural. So you can say machines can work long hours without stopping. Next is companies can produce more products in short time. Once again, this is a grammatical error. It's missing an article. In short time is missing the article in a short time. So in this context, time is being used as a countable noun, a specific amount of time. So it needs the definite article. Then, for example, in factories, robots are used to do same work again and again, which humans may feel boring. Now, in this sentence, there are three issues. First, missing comma after factories. When you start with a prepositional phrase like in factories, you need a comma before the main clause. Second, feel boring is wrong structure. The correct expression is find boring. Humans may find repetitive work boring. Feel boring means the human themselves are boring, which is not what Maria meant. Third, again and again is colloquial and wordy. The academic term could be in repetitive tasks. So the corrected sentence could read as, in factories, robots are used to perform repetitive tasks which humans may find boring. Next line, another point is that companies can save money because they don't need to pay salary for many workers. Now, salary here needs to be plural, salaries. Each worker has their own salary. So when you are talking about multiple workers, you need to use the plural form of salary. Let's move on to the second paragraph. On the other hand, there are also disadvantages of automation. The main problem is that many people can lose their jobs. Can lose is marked, flagged as weak for this argument. Can expresses general possibility, this more modal verb. So it sounds uncertain and tentative. But this is one of Maria's strongest points. So language should reflect the strength. So may lose is better. It expresses realistic possibility without being overly certain. The modal verb you choose signals to the examiner how confident you are in your argument. Weak modals on strong points is a missed opportunity. Then, when machines replicate workers, people may not find new jobs easily, especially, and I've added an E here because it should be especially, if they don't, again, the apostrophe is missing here, have good education or skills. Once again, there is language is vague. Good education. What does good education mean? Relevant qualifications, technical training, university degrees. So you need to be specific. Vague language loses marks under lexical resource. A stronger version would be, especially if they lack technical qualifications or transferable skills. Then we have also automation can increase the gap between rich and poor people. And there was a comma which was not needed, which is called a comma splice. Because companies will get more profits, again, like salaries, but profits, but workers will not get benefits. Workers will not get benefits is awkward and imprecise. Now, a natural phrasing is workers will receive fewer benefits. The verb receive is more formal than get, and fewer benefits is more precise than not get benefits. Not get benefits sounds too absolute again. It sounds like benefits disappear entirely rather than decrease. Then, some people may feel stressed and worried about their future because of losing jobs. There are two issues here. Feel stressed should be feel stressed. We addressed a similar one earlier about how passive voice works. Similar one there. This is not passive voice, I'm sorry. Here, stressed is functioning as an adjective. not as a noun. So the other thing is worried about their future, which sounds colloquial. For academic writing, the more formal phrasing is concerned about their future due to job loss. So in IELTS Task 2, you should always aim for formal over informal register. Colloquial language signals that your lexical range isn't fully developed for academic purposes. Then it says it can help companies, it was spelled wrong without an E, to improve productivity, but it can also create unemployment and social issues. So this is slightly repetitive. It echoes a structure already used in the essay. A stronger conclusion would paraphrase the argument rather than restate it word for word. You can say it can help companies improve productivity, but it may also generate unemployment and social inequality. Generate is used instead of create, social inequality instead of social issues. So paraphrasing plays a big important role in IELTS all skill examination. Now, ideas that are presented in this essay are relevant to the topic and clearly address the question, but they're not fully developed. The response tends to state a point and give a brief explanation, but it stops before explaining the wider impact of the consequence. Now, to improve, each idea should be extended by adding a clear result or real world effect, which would make the argument more convincing and help achieve a higher band score. Now, if you notice, there is an overall comment that would help Maria to understand what she has to work on in a very general sense after we specifically point out what her mistakes are. So the first thing an examiner looks at is whether you've actually answered the question. Maria's ideas are relevant. She covers productivity, cost saving, job loss, and inequality. It's all on topic. And that's a good foundation. But she never gives a clear overall opinion. Her conclusion says, I'm quoting directly from the essay. So it's not very clear if advantages are more than disadvantages. But the question asks her to take a stance. Do the advantages of this trend outweigh the disadvantage? She has to give an opinion, right? So that's opposite of what the question wants. The question is asking you to decide. Sitting on the fence will cost you marks. So don't do that. Second issue is underdevelopment. Maria makes good points, but she stops too early, which I explained just before we started talking about the general comments. For instance, she writes, machines can work many hours without stopping, right? Good. But what does that mean in practice? What is the economic impact? What's the real world consequence? Every argument needs three things: a claim, an explanation, and a result. Maria gives us the claim, but often skips the other two. When it comes to cohesion and coherence, her answer is well organized with clear paragraphs. She has an introduction, two body paragraphs, and a conclusion. I can follow the structure without getting lost. That's a positive. But the linking language is quite basic. She relies heavily on words like also, firstly, and on the other hand. These work, but they're entry-level connectors. At band 7, examiners want to see more sophisticated cohesion, transitions that show logical relationship between ideas, not just sequence them. So more importantly, the ideas within each paragraph aren't extended. Maria lists several points in one paragraph rather than developing a single idea deeply. At a higher band score, one well-developed point is worth more than 3 surface level ones. Moving on to lexical resource. Now, vocabulary is adequate. She understands the topic and uses relevant words. But I have flagged several issues that are keeping her score down. Now, we spoke about redundancy, unnatural collocation, vague academic language, awkward phrasing. Now, the pattern here is that Maria knows her vocabulary, but she's not always using it with full accuracy. That's what the preparation program helped her to sharpen. Moving on to grammatical range and accuracy, uh, there is quite a lot of issues, right? Frequent basic grammar errors. You could see errors in word form, verb forms, articles, plurals. The meaning remained clear. Now, none of these errors make Maria's meaning unclear. We can read every sentence and understand it. That's why the grammar score is not at the bottom. But these are the kind of consistent small errors that prevent a student from moving from a band 6 to a band 7. Fixing them is very important for awareness and practice. So you might wonder, how we can help you achieve this. I understand what I need to do differently, but how do I actually get there? How do I develop these skills? Now, that's the question that's running in your head, isn't it? Let's talk about the study plans, because how you prepare depends entirely on how much time you have before your exam. We have 3 study plans designed for 3 different types of students, depending on how soon you plan to sit the exam. The 2-week intensive plan, if your exam is coming up very soon and you've registered, you've realized, oh my goodness, I need to prepare quickly, then 2 weeks intensive plan is for you. Now let me explain how it works. In week 1, you dedicate 24 hours to your IELTS preparation. In week 2, you dedicate 17 hours. That's a total of 41 hours over 2 weeks. I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a lot, and it is intensive. There is no disagreement there. But what's possible is that you can follow this schedule. And if you follow this schedule, and if you complete all the tutorials, finish all the activities, attempt all the mock exams, you will receive the tutor feedback also. And all of this can be achieved within 2 weeks if you are able to use your time mindfully. So this is designed specifically for motivated students who have the time to commit and need results fast. By following this schedule, you can work systematically towards your target score in a very short time frame. Now, the 4-week plan, which is a balanced study plan, is for someone who has a bit more, someone who if you have a bit more time and want to complete your preparation within a month, then you should choose the 4-week plan. With this plan, you only need around 11 to 13 hours a week to complete the full process, which takes 4 weeks. Now, this happens in a much more manageable pace. You can fit your IELTS preparation around your work, your university timetable, and all the other commitments. You're still moving through the content efficiently, but without the intensity of cramming everything in 2 weeks. Then we have the 6-week plan, which is if you have plenty of time and want a lighter, more stress-free approach, then you should choose the 6-week plan. With 7 to 8 hours per week, you can still complete everything step by step and be fully ready to achieve your preferred band score. This is ideal for students who want to learn thoroughly, practice consistently, and build your skills gradually without feeling overwhelmed. You have time to absorb the strategies, practice them extensively, and really internalize what you're learning. Now, so which plan should you choose? To decide that, ask yourself, when is my exam date? How many hours per week can I realistically commit? Do I prefer intensive focus study or a more gradual approach? All three plans cover the same content and will prepare you thoroughly. The only difference is the timeline and the weekly time commitment, which suits your needs and wants. Let me briefly explain the three preparation plans available. The starter plan, priced at £29, is best suited for students who want to access their current level. It includes one full mock exam with tutor feedback and access to the exam simulator, which mimics the exact exam format of IELTS, so you can practice under real exam conditions. The Pro plan, which is priced at £69, is our most popular option. This is ideal for students who want a structured preparation and guided practice. The plan includes over 50 video tutorials, more than 180 practice questions, several reading and 4 reading mock exams, 4 listening mock exams, 2 writing tasks with feedback, and access to the exam simulator. The premium plan, which is what Maria chose, is priced at £149 and is designed for students who want the most comprehensive preparation. It includes everything in the Pro plan, along with the additional mock tests with feedback, more reading and listening mocks, 10 writing tasks with feedback, topic-specific vocabulary lists, and a band score guarantee. Now you might ask me, what is the band score guarantee? The band score guarantee is if you complete the premium course and do not reach your target score, you receive 6 more weeks of full access free of charge. All right, we've covered a lot of grounds today. We looked at the IELTS examination, 4 types of exams. We also covered the writing task criteria. We also looked at expert feedback, where we analyzed Maria's answer thoroughly. And then we also worked on choosing the right study plan and package based on your timeline, your current level, and your target score. Now, if you have any questions, I'm willing to answer. Thank you so much for joining today's masterclass. I wish you all the very best in your IELTS preparation, and I hope to see you in our platform soon.